In studio for a little bit is the Mayor-Elect of Shreveport, Adrian Perkins. A, congratulations. B, welcome back to KEEL.
Thank you. Thank you.
C, I asked you in the hall, I said, so, a little sleep deprived? And you said, absolutely not. Ready to hit the ground running.
That's it.
So tell me about your weekend starting, say, middle of the day on Saturday, Election Day.
Oh, middle of the day on Saturday, I was out with my people on the corners, and I told them that morning when I speak to all my volunteers before they head out, and I told them I'm not going to put you out there and I'm not out there. So I hit about a half a dozen corners and stayed out there waving Adrian Perkins signs, waving to the voters, encouraging everybody to get out to vote.
Was the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks or month even since the general election, what were you doing, 20-hour days it seemed like?
Yeah, we were working pretty hard. We wouldn't let up. The most important part to us was actual December 8th. November 6th was our warm-up. So, yeah, we pushed pretty hard. And we're going to continue to push.
You told us when you were sitting in that very chair a month or so ago, first three things when you're elected mayor, fire the police chief was number one. Second one was audit the water sewer department. Third was funding for the broadband. Still your top three today?
Yeah, I would say definitely my top three. And I talked about funding for the broadband is going to be kind of put into that chief technology officer that I talked about during my acceptance speech. So that chief technology officer, we're already looking at that position. So we've already done some analysis on who would be the strongest person for that position. And we've reached out to some organizations as well that help fund that.
You have some real bright ideas, lots of great plans. We don't have any money. That's what everyone's going to ask you today. They're approving the budget tomorrow.
Yep.
Where do you get the money to fund everything you want to do?
Yeah, well, there'll be a lot of private dollars, but I got to tell you, there's a lot of space in our budget right now. There's a lot of overlap in our city budget that we can get rid of. So we got to be more efficient with our dollars. It's like any household. If you need to pay your bills, you need to cut costs somewhere. So that's how we're going to do it.
Let's talk policing a minute. Ben Raymond is now the substitute chief. Alan Crump is on medical leave as still at chief. What is your plan for dealing with that situation?
Yeah, so we can't do anything because he's protected. Chief Crump is protected under civil service laws, so we can't do anything until about July. That's when we're assuming that he'll step down because he'll max out his pension. And at that point, we're going to convene a commission to help me convene a commission of law enforcement experts to help me choose the next police chief. And Ben Raymond, I've heard great reviews from him in the interim from people around him. So, he can throw his name in the hat as well.
But he's not. We talked to Ron Machota about that, who said you could remove a chief for cause while they're on medical leave. But he also said that Raymond was not certified as chief. Will you move in the direction of getting Raymond certified, or do you want to wait?
Well, to your first point, we'll look at every option that we have. I don't think it's right to place a tax burden on the people of Shreveport to be paying for two police chiefs. So that addresses the first point. And about the second point, if the interim chief Raymond or substitute chief Raymond he wants to be certified and wants a job, then yeah, he has the opportunity just like the other candidates.
Chief administrative officer. Lots of rumors going around. There were 2 or 3 names being bandied about pre-election. If you want to tell us, we'd be more than willing to listen. But do you have a date in your head to make those announcements and some others?
No, we haven't set a hard line because my priority isn't timeline. My priority is getting it right. So we haven't set a hard line. We're early in the transition period. So no, we won't
be looking 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 names that you've been thinking about for a while.
And their names will be tossed in a hat at the right time. But as of now, we're going to make sure we get this right. So, sadly, I can't disclose anything further than that.
Sadder for you than me.
Let me follow up on that, because I heard from a couple of people who came to you and asked, could they be considered, and you told them kind of bluntly you weren't making any promises. Can you tell me today you have made no deals with anyone, supported your campaign or not, about positions at city government?
Yes. Absolutely not. This is early in the transition period. We're going to have a very transparent process. As we convene the advisory board for the transition committee, the transition teams, the public will know about it. So just look forward to some press releases this week on timelines, etc.
You had made the point a bunch of times during the campaign, in fact, a couple of times in the studio, that in your mind and in the minds of a lot of really smart people, not that you're not, sorry, is that this election was very much maybe more about a generational shift than it was parties or race. You still feel that way?
And looking at it, it absolutely was big for our generation. There's no doubt about that, right? I'm the second youngest mayor of Shreveport, but it was also, I'm proud of the fact that everybody came together. A 64% mandate, everybody came together and wanted change. They wanted something better for our city. So, you know, it means a lot for our generation, but essentially everybody gets a seat at the table now. If millennials didn't have a seat right now, we've just pulled up a seat to the table and we get to work with everybody.
64%'s a lot. What do you think about that? What did you feel as those returns were coming in?
I mean, I'm humbled by it. I'm blown away that the city, you know, wanted to support me in such a strong way, gave me such a mandate, and you better believe we're going to make good on it.